right, welcome to another episode of RigCheck. We're here in an observation point on the Rubicon Trail. We just did 4 days of wheeling, 4 days of camping during a Rubicon event. We're on our way out, so we decided to make a pit stop here on the hill and do a quick walk around of Jose's rig. Before we jump in, I'm gonna tell you, Jose, this truck right here was an inspiration for me for many, many years. So before I really got into LandCruisers, I was a loyal follower, I guess still am a loyal follower of this build on I Hate Mud. I watched the whole process of this thing getting converted from like a stock truck to what it is now. So it's awesome to be finally having a chat about this truck in person and just kind of go into all the details on our channel. So let's just jump right in. What year is this thing? When did you get it? How did you come upon it? And kind of what got you into this truck?
Yeah, so it's a 96 Toyota LandCruiser. So I've owned it for going on 12 years now.
In the beginning.
So really, what got me into the LandCruisers is, I don't know if you remember like the old footage from like National Geographic. They had those Arctic exploration trucks.
Yes.
There was a dark green one on like the 44, big tires, and ever since then I was just obsessed with these things. Like I just had to have one. So when I first started going into camping and off-roading, I had a 2-wheel drive Nissan Frontier, and it started getting more into the technical trails. Really just started looking at getting more capable 4x4. I almost ended up with a Jeep until a buddy recommended, why don't I start looking at these LandCruisers? And looked around for a bit, lucky enough to find this one. It was a local deal. It was the factory metallic dark green color. It had the 35s on it, a small lift. They had the chromoly burr feel, so good enough to just get started on it and do some quick wheeling right away. So.
Okay, so how long did you own this thing until you decided to really take it to the next level with like all the suspension, coilovers and all that?
So I bought it in 2012, and then by the end of 2014, early 2015, I was already with an angle grinder cutting off all the factory suspension. So this is a 4-wheel underground 3-link, and I think it was the third one that he ever made for the 80 series LandCruiser. So it's a very early production.
Okay, so
kit.
Factory, as you guys know, this comes with a traditional radial spring and coil suspension. The front suspension has completely been cut off and replaced with a new link setup with coilovers. So going into it, so let's talk about the axle. I mean, besides doing all the linkage, I see a lot of additional components that's in there. What do you got going on?
Yeah, it's as crazy as this truck looks. It's all 100% Toyota, all original axles, original drivetrain. The suspension's obviously a little bit wild, right? So this is one of Brian's very early kits for the 80 series LandCruisers. And if you look on the 4-Wheel Underground website, you'll see this truck on there as soon as I got it done. So the coilovers I'm running 14-inch Radflow coilovers. It's Hellfire knuckles with the high steer and the raised panhard. So that's something that you guys helped me out with. That Stellar Build was before when I first did the 3-link, I had the Y-link steering. Yeah. Over the last couple of years or so, we double sheared the Hellfire knuckles, raised up the drag link, and raised up the panhard as well, and then got a PSC hydro assist there. As well.
So besides the linkage, I see you reinforced the front, top. I guess that's a truss as well. So gussets. This thing is built up in all sorts of ways.
I call it a poor man diamonds axle. So it's got a ballistic front diff cover, also the ballistic lower drain plug armor. Just along the front is just some angle iron that I sort of just cut and molded to fit, and then it's got a low range truss along the top of it as well.
So this is one of the details I really like about this axle, is the fact that it looks like a modern high tech axle, but all it really is just angle iron.
Just angle iron.
Yeah, no, very cool. Hydro assist, all the linkage, everything is reinforced. As far as the axle and gearing, you have factory lockers in this thing?
Factory E-lockers. The gearing is Nitro 529s that were cryo-treated before we put them in there.
Okay, right on. So as strong as it gets. This is a recent mod that we did in this truck. So why did you decide to add a sway bar in the front?
So, the 4-wheel underground 3-link is great, right? It's got perfect geometry, but the problem is these trucks are just so heavy, right? They're very top-heavy trucks, and, just can't fight the physics, right? Especially when you start loading them up with a lot of people, a lot of gear, and you're going camping. It's just hard to control that body roll. So started looking around for sway bar options and came across, some guys that have used the universal anti-rock kit. Yeah. And that's where you guys at Stellar Build helped me put this thing in there. So we bought the 18-inch universal kit, and you guys formed it and pressed it out to fit with that reinforcing rib down the middle.
Yeah, for sure. The way everything is packaged in here, it's really nice. Like all the bumps, the way your steering box sits in there, the coilover towers and all that. It's a work of art. Like those towers themselves. So another cool little feature is the fact that you notch the tower in order to clear the steering shaft.
Yeah, those are universal towers from Barnes, right? And then when you're doing your own towers, you sort of have to cut and measure and get them the right angle. And with these LandCruisers, you got that steering shaft that runs right where that coilover tower needs to be. So yeah, I had to cut it out and notch it and build that little box myself.
The front suspension is clearly a work of art. This is a lot of engineering. Everything works. It functions. Drives down the road. Flexes on the trail. Let's move on to the back because the rear has something unique. this is maybe the only setup that I've seen done this way, so let's check it out. All right, so we're hanging out back of the truck here. We got the rear axle. What may look like kind of a stock setup, which is completely far from it. So, Jose, tell me what you did in the back.
Yeah, so again, this is a completely stock axle, right? So the stock 9.5-inch LandCruiser rear end. Essentially what I'm running here is a 3/4 triangulated 4-link, if you will, right? So it's got a wishbone upper. The lowers are extended and triangulated on a removable cross member that runs right in front of the gas tank and across the transfer case. So it's you got the 4 links in the bottom, and you basically got the one wishbone up top, and that wishbone utilizes the factory cross member mounts, right? And so the reason I did that is because of the gas tank. I didn't want to have to remove the gas tank. You know, if you go with the double triangulated 4-link, you got the long links that go where the gas tank is, right? So this is kind of the next best option, is going with that wishbone. You know, in order to keep everything intact to the gas tank and not have to go run a fuel cell or anything like that.
For sure. So key ingredient is the fact that it does not have a panhard bar.
Correct. Yeah. So with the triangulated wishbone upper and the triangulated lowers, it eliminates the need for the panhard, right? So that gives you the triangulation, and that's what holds the axle in place. Okay,
right on. So as far as the coilovers themselves, I mean, what size, what length?
So those coilovers are 14-inch Radful coilovers, and honestly, they're probably a bit too long. That's why you see them hanging down so low to the axle. And I had to get really creative to mount these things, because one of my main requirements was not going through the floor, right? Because I have a big fridge in there. I like to go camping, you know, and load up a lot of gear. I did not want to have to cut through the floor. So I had to raise the mount and, you know, on a custom cross member right under the cab, and then create these custom mounts down below the axle to mount those.
Okay, yeah, very nice. And this kind of reminds me, and this is no offense, this is something that you would see on like a factory Jeep setup, that you have the shocks hanging down below behind the axle. So this is kind of maybe some inspiration from that. But
yeah, it's very similar to how the shocks are mounted on the stock LandCruiser, right? So they're basically in that same position, just in front of the axle.
Yes.
And really what I did, I just copied it and moved it to the back of the axle for the coilovers.
Nice. So nice, easy little skiddy on the bottom of the axle, and that's about it.
Yeah, just a little skid plate there that reinforces the drain plug, and then I don't know if you can see it, but I'm also having a custom rough stuff sway bar. So similar to the anti-rock that we put up front, this is a big rough stuff sway bar that I built myself a couple of years ago.
Let's check it out. So you can kind of see it from the side, right?
Yeah.
So it sits below the frame, up front, notch the frame to clear the hardware, right?
Right. Yeah, so it's a very thick arm on these, right? You know, in hindsight, I probably should have done an anti-rock because it's a much thinner arm, but I wanted to go with this beefy rough stuff sway bar that's really used for like Ultra 4 buggies and, you know, high-speed rigs. So you can see, you know, it's pretty simple. It just mounts below the frame, and, you know, just a little link down to the axle, and that's it.
Nice. Okay, so now to make sure this thing gets put power to the ground, the internals of the axle are built up as well?
Yeah, so again, the rear is also Nitro 529s that were cryo-treated before they went in for the ring and pinion. Axle shafts are the RCV 300M axles on both sides, and we modified the flanges and the hubs to run bigger ARP bolts instead of the small studs that Toyota uses on these axles. For sure,
yeah, those shear quite often. So this is again, as far as the rear axle, as much as you can possibly do to build this in the factory.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as, you know, wanting to keep it all 100% Toyota and original LandCruiser, this is about as much as you can do.
Okay, very cool. So as far as the wheel and tire choice for this truck, I mean, I know it went through a couple of iterations, different wheels and tires. What's the current setup that you're running now?
Yeah, so right now it's the Nitto Trail Gliders in 38x17 and Method 106 beadlocks. Okay. I really like the color combination with the polished aluminum with the greenish color of the truck. I think it's a nice contrast.
Yeah, no, for sure. It looks great. And 38 seems to be a really popular choice nowadays.
Yeah, they're starting to see a lot more tire options. You know, 37s are cool, and, you know, 40s are a little bit too much, in my opinion, for these trucks. And the way I have the tire size dialed in with the fender cutting and the up travel, 38s are just perfect.
All right, so jumping to the front, we're going to look at all the armor in this truck. So this truck has a pretty unique front end. It's very iconic. It's sharp. It's different color. There's some familiar elements. There's something different about it. Jose, tell me what you did to the front.
So this is a 4x4 Labs high clearance bumper, and this is one of the very early ones that he started making as well. So if you look at the ones that he's selling now, the wings are a little bit lower. So these very early models that he had, and I don't know if he still makes them, you see they cover up the turn signals. So it's very super high clearance wing. The original design had a little stinger that comes out with some supporting arms. I wanted to run these big lights right in the middle, so what I did, I just put this flat bar all the way across. So that's just kind of my own little design element there. Put some tabs for these big lights here. And then I added these little LED turn signals in the bumper there. Let's see what else is. I capped this off and put these little LED trailer lights to kind of finish off the frame horns there. Kind of give it a nice little look there.
This is a JDM front.
Yeah, so this is a pretty recent upgrade that I did. So this is the JDM. You see this also in Australian and Venezuelan LandCruiser. It's the quad headlight conversions.
Okay.
Before I had the one piece, and then I switched over to the round headlight grills. Just wanted to bring it back to that old school classic truck look with the shiny chrome grille, and then I really like the color contrast as well. So.
Very nice. So just some spot beams in the front, and just what size winch you can run?
Yeah, so this is a Runva 12,000 pound winch that I've had pretty much since I bought the truck, and it's been running without skipping a beat this whole time.
Yeah, no, very nice. I mean, it looks really good. Nice high and tight. This is something that's different because most Labs bumpers are sitting below the light.
Right.
So this one is up high and tight, away from rocks or any other elements. So, all right, well, let's come around the sliders, see what we did for the sliders. These are also a little bit different than when you see. This isn't something you can buy off the shelf.
No, so this is all custom built. So what I did here, if you compare it to a stock LandCruiser, you got the whole rocker panel cavity. So I cut out all of the rocker panels.
So so below the doors, that's all gone.
Yeah, so I just cut it all the way down and capped it, welded it, and you get about 5 inches of clearance. And then after that, what we did is just built a straight plank off the frame. And then, for the cats, we built a big skid protection cage. Actually, that's one of the things that you guys did at Stellar built for me a couple of years ago as well.
Cat theft is on the rise. You got to get yourself some cat cradle like this. So all them tweakers that are tweaking, you got to stay away from this truck because you're not getting in. This cat cradle is here to stay. We got 1/4 inch protection, 3/8 bottom. So as a skid itself, I mean, this is not going anywhere. So now this is all per Jose's request. Just some big old grade 8 bolts from the bottom, and all the cats, all the factory stuff just sits inside.
Yeah, and this thing's taken a beating over the last, 6-7 years, I think, and it's held up great. So I use it a lot to bounce off of it.
Yeah, and everything's just welded through, so there's no room for any sort of movement. It's just directly to the frame.
Yeah, it's a big 2x4 plank just straight to the frame. On the other side, since we don't have the cats, it's a 2x6 plank, so a little bit wider.
LandCruiser frames are so complex in the way that they taper in, they go up. It's not just like a flat frame. So if you notice, like almost every single mount on this frame on the slider is different to make it work with this exhaust.
Yeah, everything's going around something.
Yeah. All right, so onto the back, pretty similar as the rockers themselves. I see that you chopped the quarter panels.
Yeah, so cut out also the rocker cavity here. Again, another 4 to 5 inches of sheet metal come out. Put a straight cap, welded it on, and it just built my own bumper here. So it's just a big 2x6 plank, another 2x6 plank going this way, and just some little kickouts, and pretty much just welded permanently to the frame. And you can see these things took a beating on this trip, and they're still holding up.
High and tight, everything is tucked in. So I see there's no swing outs, no drop down tables, no fuel cans or anything. It's just as tight as you can possibly be to the body.
Yeah, I've had various different bumpers over the years, with dual swing outs and ladders and, the spare tires. And, as my style of wheeling has evolved over time, I realized I don't really need all that weight, right? I like to keep it light, as light as possible. So that's why I just went high and tight, no swing outs at all. And, so far it's been working out as well.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me about this. This is something that I have never seen on any other truck before. I've seen similar styles on like XJs where they put a rocker, I guess, side protection, but this is completely different.
Yeah, so this is a complete one-off. You won't see another one like it, right? And I did take the inspiration from the XJs, right? And I really wanted to start protecting the quarter panel and got tired of breaking taillights, right? These girls have a big wide rear end. It's hard to keep them from the trees and the rocks. Yeah. And, I was starting to get a lot of dents in the quarter panel. And so I reached out to this shop here, Metalcraft Innovations. They're actually no longer in business, right? And, he took on the task of trying to design something that go around the contours, which was a lot of work, right? You can see all the different shapes and cutouts that he had to make. And, unfortunately, he's no longer in business. So this is the only one in existence until somebody else tries to make one.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. It definitely makes this truck stand out. I see in the back, pure utility, man. We got brake, turn, and reverse.
Just some, universal trailer lights for the brake lights, some little LED pods for the turn signals, and the reverse lights are cut into the French into the tailgate.
So as far as the recovery, pretty straightforward. We just have some D-ring mounts that's welded directly to the bumper, which the bumper is welded to the frame, correct?
Exactly, yeah. That thing's not coming off.
Yeah, so very simple, very clean. Got a nice hook in the back. Tell me about this. This is something different.
Yeah, so this is a pretty new product to the 80 market. So this is made by Snowbound Customs. He started making these for the 3rd gen 4Runners and recently launched these for the 80 series LandCruiser. So it's a aluminum replacement spoiler. Just take out this factory one, put this on, and it's got the integrated chase light mount. So it's a very cool product.
Yeah,
it really finishes off the rear end.
For sure, and all the color matching you got going on here really works. All right, so a whole bunch of stuff done on the outside. You got a whole bunch of axle work, and everything else just looks big and burly. I'm curious to see the interior, how you built out the back.
Yeah, the inside is pretty simple, right? You know, like I said, I don't do a lot of extended camping trips, and you know, most of the stuff that I do is just day trips, day wheeling trips. So really, all what I have is permanently mounted is just this that you see here. Everything else is just room for gear and cargo, depending on what my needs are. You know, sometimes I'll take out the rear seats, sometimes I'll leave them in if I have the kids or whatnot. But basically, what you have here is a Dometic 65 quart on a DIY slider that I built myself, so that just slides out, gives you access to the fridge. On this side, we have the 4x4 Labs fender basket, right? And so I just have a 5-gallon water tank, extreme air compressor, and then just a Russo fire extinguisher. Just very simple. So this is, like I said, all I got permanently mounted. And we have a Bison Gear overhead rack for some of the lighter weight stuff. Right now I have the solar panels, since we use that on this trip, and then the first aid kit.
So you're using all the space, including the tailgate. That looks like a drawer to me, or
yeah, this thing's really cool. I can't open it because I have the trash roof strap there, but this is a tailgate storage panel made by Back Bay Customs.
Okay.
And the design is now being sold by Delta. So now Delta took over this very same design. So it's very cool. So super sturdy. You could sit, stand on this thing, open it up, and you have a ton of storage space for your recovery straps and jumper cables, whatever you need.
Very cool. I like the detail on the little fans in the back. This is nice. That's some old school mods. So it looks pretty packed. It's definitely puts to use. You still have some room up top. I'm curious to see what's the rest of the interior is like. I can already tell it's got a bunch of stuff going on. First and foremost, this is like a brand new interior, Jose. What did you do? I mean, this is like a lot of the 80s stuff is like burned out, worn out. It's like completely new. Yeah,
I mean, these are pretty much, think of them as factory brand new seats. So I got a set of these from a buddy. They were in decent shape, but the bolsters were kind of coming apart. The foam was torn as typical. So I stripped them all down, re-welded the bolster cages, got brand new foam from Toyota, OEM foam, and then got the Roadwire reupholster kit. So this is all done by an upholstery shop in the Sacramento area. I went with a dark chocolate brown color because I don't really like the light tan that it comes with. It's very easy to stain, and so just did a nice orange contrast stitching, and also does the armrest covers and then the center console, so it brings it all together nicely.
Very nice. The steering wheel also, I mean, this is a beautiful detail. It's
yeah, that's actually just a cheap Amazon kit that I stitched on myself. It's not perfect, but it looks a lot better than the OEM one and should give me a couple more years of use.
Yeah. Okay, so as far as driver assist features, I mean, you got gauges, you got pods, you got radios. Let's do a quick run through everything you have on your dash.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot going on, but I still feel it's pretty simple, pretty original, mostly stock, right? So all just have a head unit here, aftermarket Alpine that taps into a reverse camera. Here I just have a little hardwire mount for the Baofeng radio, old school GPS, and then here's just a mount for the cell phone. So this uses the Wits End cubby insert, and then down here we just have more little mounting points for switches. We have the chase lights, the rock lights, front camera. And here I just added 3 more rocker switches for light bars, fog lights, and the cooling fans.
Okay. So I remember you completely rebuilt your entire HVAC unit. Is that right?
Yeah, so actually, the whole HVAC unit, if you look at it up close, those are all brand new buttons. I actually took it apart completely, changed out all the LED lights, changed it to, the whole system actually is all amber backlit with blue LEDs, brand new buttons, because, once these things are 30 years old, those buttons don't even look white anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so as far as like the LandCruiser specific mods, I mean, I can see this is a part-time kit. You got front rear differential stock and low range. I believe this is a re-gear setup.
Yeah, so we didn't talk about the transfer case too much. So it's got a 3.11 low range crawler gears. Also did a part-time conversion, right? So this button here, that's essentially what triggers my part-time 4x4 like a traditional truck. So this is no longer full-time 4-wheel drive. Factory e-locker, so you got the dial over there on the driver's side. And then I also added the little hard, permanently mounted winch controls as well. That way I have to get the winch controller out every time.
That's super convenient. Look at the tweeters. How cool are those? This is kind of like a really bougie 80 series mod. We've seen one of these on our friend Cruiser Kawa on his 80. I see you got the same set on yours along with some other goodies.
Yeah, I actually saw his and I was like, you know what, I got to get these things. They're a little pricey, but they're super cool. So they're the rosin aircraft sun visor. So, it's like a shaded tinted acrylic material. And it's cool because you can put them down and you can still see, with the sun in your face and you still have no view obstruction. Up top here, we have a custom printed 3D overhead console. In there I have just a little aftermarket altimeter that shows your GPS coordinates, your tilt and pitch of the vehicle, battery voltage gauge, and then here I have a Wolfbox rear view camera mirror, so it's got front and rear view dash cam at all time.
Nice.
On the pillar on your side, that's I have just a digital water temperature gauge and a transmission temperature gauge, so very simple. And then at the very bottom over here, we have a wits end fire extinguisher mount with just a little small 2.5 pounder.
Very nice. Hold on. Yeah. How can I make this funny? Pop the hood, Jose.
Let's pop the hood. Oh man, this thing's filthy.
Okay, so 4.5 stock 6-cylinder with a bunch of goodies. I mean, I see a whole bunch of new stuff. So tell me what you got going on.
Yeah, I mean, the engine itself is pretty much all original. I don't want to mess with the drivetrain, keep it, nice and reliable for doing the trails. Most of the stuff that you'll see up here that's different is just electrical work, right? So we got the dual batteries. For the battery, I'm actually using the Hell Roaring backup system. So that's a little module that controls it right there. So rather than having, a spare battery where all the loads are connected to that, everything goes to the main battery, and this one serves as a backup. So if in case I need to do a self jump start or combine them both for heavy winching.
Yeah, for sure. I see you got an ABS delete.
Yeah, so a couple years ago I deleted the ABS. So you can see I pretty much relocated all. If you know what the factory LandCruisers looked like, you'd have the big ABS module right there. Move the charcoal canister to the back, and then here's where I added kind of my own little electrical work here. So this is a big distribution block. And then there's this guy here, a fuse and relay block where all of my accessories go here.
Nice. No, very well. I mean, it's definitely gets put to use. Now, you drove to the trail, you drove through the trail, and you're planning on driving it home. How many miles on this thing? Where are we at?
Yeah, surprisingly, it's pretty low miles, right? So, this is my trail rig, so I only use it on the weekends. So it's got about 187,000 miles on it right now. And that's always been my main goal. It's something that I can drive to the trail and drive it home as well in AC with nice leather seats. So.
That's low miles. That's pretty much brand new.
Yeah, very low miles.
Yeah, very cool. Well, Jose, we love this truck. I admire this build. I mean, every time I see you tinkering with it, like it's always, you're always up to something interesting. So it was great to see this on the trail. Thank you for kind of cruising with us, joining us in this run. So, I'm sure we'll do some more wheeling in the future. And thank you for, hold on. What? We gotta finish up the segment with our tradition. All right, Jose, no segment's complete without one of these guys. So this is our official statement that your truck has been rig checked. There you go.
All right, let's go put this thing on. These are kind of nice.
Where's it gonna go?
Right here. I already took off an old ugly sticker right there.
There we go. He's with the program. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching another episode of RigCheck. We had a great time on the Rubicon event, crawling the Rubicon Trail. Now, we have a ton of footage backlog. We have so much stuff that's down the pipeline. So if you like our channel, if you like what you see, slam that notification bells, hit subscribe, and kind of follow us along on our journey.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Change don't change like it used to. Who runs the roost round here? The cooch gone clear. Got the heart from the bass to the snares, but the word is what's keeping them here. Word to my peers. The work don't stop till the top. Think it's resting, but will not. I spread the message and it's love. I get the S and the P and the R from above. I see them restless with the keys and the palm for the bump. A bit of grinding up the herb is what I'm on. Shouts go out to mums. This one is the icy one. Go get the long johns. 50 Pret in London, if it's on then I'm on. I know they feel it when I spit, it's like the Missy song. Shut your noise, silence when I